There's music on all the time on the stereo. So I grew up with like just always a stereo on, it seems. Even during dinners, you know, like that kind of thing. My oldest brother, Robbie, you know, he'd bring in the Cream and the Hendrix and the Carlos Santana. And then my mom and dad would bring in the staple singers as far as what they listened to. Odetta, you know, Pete Seeger, that kind of thing as well. Lots of folk, even bluegrass and stuff like that. Supremes, you know, all that kind of thing. And then my uncle, who was real musical, would come by with the Chieftains, for instance, or this and that. So musically speaking, we were a very musical family, although no one really, my mom and dad didn't play, and neither did my uncle. They were just musical lovers. Grade 6, I begged my mom and dad. There was one Epiphone downtown. It was a like a sunburst. And I would just go down and stare at it and stare at it and stare at it. And finally, she was, you know, great. She went and they got it for me, grade 6. And it had a Vagabond amplifier, which are made by Sears and Roebuck. And it had overdrive built into it because it was such a crappy amp that it would overdrive super simply, unless I'd already blown the cone, which is possible. So that was, so you could do Sweet Home Alabama and all that kind of thing. And then I morphed from playing in like a little garagey thing with my mates, like after school, to meeting a bunch of older people who were like in their 20s and 30s, who kind of, at the age of 13, I started becoming a bit more into the folk thing and started playing a lot of bluegrass, mandolin, and stuff. And my mom, I wanted an acoustic, and they bought me a $600 or $700, which is, you know, a lot of money. Peter Allen Sachin is a Saskatchewan luthier. And Peter made me a beautiful Martin D18 copy of what he does, Sachin. And I got to go down to his workshop and help pick the Rosetta, you know, and which is the thing around the sound hole, of course, with all the little tiny pieces of square wood that they glue together, and then they chop them like bread. And that's what they set into the Rosetta, right? So beautiful. And then I got a hummingbird chasing a fly or a bee or so, whatever it is. It's a beautiful little thing. Anyway, that was so that, I guess in some ways, apart from that little electric guitar that I really loved, that had a lot to do with me really learning how to play Samba Pati by Carlos Santana or anything I first really grabbed onto that way. And then the Sachin, which I eventually pawned because I had to get down to Texas. And I sold my amp on my guitar for like $400. And when I got back, like maybe 4 weeks later, broke and kind of back to Vancouver, and I went, oh my God, I don't have an amp and guitar now because I sold it to get down there. So my manager, who had just started managing me, tracked down the guitar, and we bought it back for double the price. So I still have it today.